What's up, family? And we are back with another video. I'm trying not to be
I
too
was about to say,
loud
why you
because
talking so loud?
I feel like if I would
Oh,
have said it how I was gonna say it, it would have scared her, and I
yeah.
think she would have like cried.
Yeah,
So because she's
welcome
asleep.
back, family.
So
I can kind of talk normal.
yeah, I didn't want to be right in her ear and do that, so that's why I said it so loud.
But this is just a quick video, updating y'all. I don't know who watches that, follows us on TikTok or whatnot. I've seen the video that I posted yesterday when we was in the hospital. Well, you can tell by the thumbnail. I forgot the thumbnail. But we were in the hospital yesterday. We went late last night. I'm gonna let you tell the story because you're gonna give all the details, and I was downstairs.
So, and excuse me if I have crumbs on my mouth or anything. We just got done eating. I feel like I probably got stuff in my teeth.
6.2 is what I rated. Anyway.
So Golden, I did tell y'all in the last vlog that Golden had a cold.
Oh.
Yeah, I did let y'all know that he had a cold, and remember I said I was praying that it didn't. Well, I already prayed that it didn't get to the rest of the household, and he was the one that actually went somewhere with his grandmother, my mother-in-law, and yeah, so he had a cold, which I just thought was just like, you know, a little cold, and it actually seemed to be one of his better ones, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that bad. He had a slight little fever the first day, but it honestly wasn't even a bad fever. It was really slight. It didn't last long. It kind of just spiked when he went to sleep, which is typical, and then it just, you know, went away once he was up. The next day, that was Monday. The next day on Tuesday, he was like jumping around, bouncing around, laughing, being his regular self. Like we still could tell, because you know he had a little like runny nose, whatever. We still could tell that he was sick, but he was like, because that was the day you said this is a good cold, like it's not even a bad one.
Yeah.
And so he seemed to be better. So it was just like, okay, cool, this is gonna be a quick one. That's great. And then yesterday, when hubby took him to the bathroom in the morning and everything like that, he said that he had a little cough, and I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, not nothing crazy, but he got a little cough.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I heard it as soon as I went to go get on. I could tell it was one of them little ugly coughs.
like,
so I had made a little joke. I was like, he need to be quarantined.
And I'm like, really? But anyway, long story short, the day went on. He had a few moments of like whining and fussy, you know what I mean? But that's not abnormal for him with a cold, so it just was like, okay, cool. He still was eating okay. Like, you know, he's had colds, like I said in the previous video, where he doesn't really eat anything, you know what I'm saying, for the first day or day and a half or so. He still was eating. Everything was going good for what it was, you know. And then we went to me and hubby, we got them fed. They got in the bed and everything like that, and we went to the gym. My mom watches, she has an Aria, and she watches the boys on the monitor. We had them in the 2 separate rooms, and it's a camera in both rooms, so she could see both of the boys and what they're doing at any, you know, moment. She leaves the monitor right there so she can watch them and just flip back and forth between both the cameras. And Golden actually fell asleep while we was at the gym, and Savon was the one that was still up. Well, so she said that he was still up, but then when I went upstairs, I'm like, oh dang, maybe he wants a little snack or something. So I was getting ready to take him a couple Danimals and a fruit bar, and I got upstairs and he was knocked out. And so I came back downstairs and I'm like, so you thought that was a little funny joke to tell me that he was up or what? Because he's knocked out. But anyway, she was like, he had to just fall asleep. I promise you he was up. So we get washed and everything, and hubby went downstairs to get ready to get a yogurt. He was getting ready to eat a little yogurt, and I was putting Anaria to sleep. He had just gave her a bottle, excuse me, and then I was trying to get her to sleep. And as I'm trying to get her to sleep, I heard a cough, But honestly, the cough was very deep. I didn't think it was Golden initially. I thought it was my brother-in-law initially. And I heard, because I had the monitor on Sevon's screen at the time. And I heard the cough. And then I heard what sounded like a choke after the cough. And then so I'm like, hold on. So I grabbed the monitor and I swapped from Sevon. I swapped it over to Golden. And I couldn't tell what I was hearing. I just heard something that sounded funny to me. And so I picked the monitor up and I put it by my ear. And I heard like... And I'm like, hold up, what the heck? So I literally jumped up out of the bed. I threw the monitor. I don't know where it went, because my mom, when we left to go to the hospital, she was trying to look for the screen so she could watch Sevon, but she couldn't find it, so she just went there and laid with him. But I literally just threw the monitor. I had her in my hand still. I just jumped up with her. I'm sure she probably was a little shaken up, scared, because how I jumped up. But I jumped up, ran down the hall into Golden's room. As soon as I opened the door, he stood straight up on the bed, and I just heard that, you know, and so I grabbed him and pulled him close to me, and then he was like moving back a little bit, and then I realized, my goodness, is he struggling to breathe? Like, to me, I'm like, dang it, he can't breathe. So I scooped him up, ran down the hall. I guess hubby said he already heard.
Yeah, it sounded like somebody was either walking hard or running. I'm just like, what the heck is going on up there?
Yeah, so I made it to the step and I already was yelling his name. Yeah, I was yelling his name.
I could tell it was something.
Yeah. So he slipped out his bedroom slippers. So my mom said that's what she heard. She said she didn't even hear me call you, nor hear you respond. She just heard, it seemed like I guess she could hear the panic and how you slid your slippers off. So she ended up putting on her house coat and came upstairs. But yeah, as soon as, you know, he came upstairs, I'm like, he can't breathe, he can't breathe. And obviously, you know, I'm panicking. So he's trying to tell me, you know, like, calm down. You got to stay calm so he can calm down.
You're still panicking, because that's not even what happened. You ran downstairs with both of them.
I did?
Yeah.
I don't even remember doing it.
Yeah. You ran downstairs and met me in the hallway.
I don't even remember doing it. I guess it just was
like, we gotta go to the hospital. I'm like, what's going on? He was like, he can't breathe. Where's your inhaler? He was like,
I remember
he was
that.
like, grab him. And then he didn't want me to grab him. And then so you gave me a Naria, and then we ran back upstairs and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop.
Yeah, and we tried to use your inhaler on him. I don't know if that helped or not. I don't even know if he's able to use an inhaler, y'all. I just was so panicky, and I'm just like,
I had asthma.
Yeah, but is it different
doses? Yeah, but no, not really.
I was panicking. I just know, like, shoot, when y'all can't breathe with asthma attacks, y'all use this. So I'm just like, where's your inhaler? Let's, you know, so I asked Golden to open his mouth. He still was, you know, breathing how he was breathing. You sprayed it, right? He doesn't really know how to, like, inhale it or nothing like that.
First thing I did was pray.
First thing I should have been doing.
Because she was super, super frantic. And again, y'all, you know, talked about this multiple times. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure I'm going to pray first.
And I did pray, but after, it was like I was already panicking. I panicked first. And as I was throwing my clothes on, I was praying. I was praying as I was throwing my clothes on.
So long story short, I was trying to get her to like calm down so he can calm down.
And even my mom too, she's like, well, Yanni, he's breathing. He is breathing. So just, you know, try to stay calm. Try to calm down so you're not freaking him out or nothing like that. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, you know, because I'm just, you know, I'm probably like scaring him a little bit, because I'm like, you know, I'm moving him around, like just trying to make sure he's fine.
So we get to the car. She goes to the car. She get this boy in the car with he ain't got no shoes on.
I didn't
luckily
care
he got
what
shoes
neither one of us had on.
He's always taking his shoes off, so luckily he still had shoes in the car, 2 different pair.
He had on a pajama shirt with holes in it. So let me just throw that out there, because y'all gonna see it on the picture anyway. And those holes are there from him, by the way. He bit those holes in his darn shirt like that. But anyway, he had on his pajama shirt, and the pajama pants, I guess, could look like leggings, but they just like that type of material. It's just his pajamas. It didn't match. He didn't have no socks on, no shoes. Like I said, I just flew him out that door. Me and him. I was just more concerned with getting him to the hospital.
I get in the car. I got to the car maybe 2 minutes later, if that. I
didn't know how long he was gonna take. Let me say
I
that.
got into the car. It probably was really a minute and 30 seconds later.
It felt like 10 minutes.
I get in the car. I look over. I see 911 on her screen. So I just look at her.
I can have a sense of humor about it now because he's fine. But
and then so she's like,
I've never called 911 in my life until last night. For started, that was the first time I've ever called.
And I just hear the lady saying, "Well, okay, so should we come?" And I just look at y'all and I'm like, I know how to get to the hospital.
My whole thing, like I was saying after the fact, the reason that I called 911 is because I do know that, yes, they have to get to us, but once they get to us, they are equipped to handle emergency situations right there in the back of their vehicle. We can't do that. That's the only thing I was thinking about. You know what I mean? Like if he needed an oxygen, really?
Yeah, I can't explain it. Like I don't know. It's warm.
Don't throw up like that.
No, I don't feel like I'm gonna throw up. I've had this feeling before. I can't explain it. Anyway.
Yeah, but that's the only thing I could think of. Is like, if he's having true problems and he's really, really, really struggling to breathe, like how it sound. Jersey Mike.
No, what was it though?
Turkey provolone.
Dang, I ain't no turkey like that.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Cause you haven't had turkey forever. You okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the only thing I was thinking about, y'all. I'm just like, if he's really, really struggling, can we get him there in enough time and get him seen in enough time versus if a ambulance come out and they can start treating him immediately? That's the only thing I could think about. So
I drove to the hospital.
Yeah, he's in the car like I know where the hospital is. Like we just could take him to the hospital. I'm like, you sure? He's like, yeah. So I just told the lady, I'm like, all right, I guess we're gonna attempt to drive him to the hospital, and hopefully I don't have to call y'all back. And so this seemed to be the longest drive ever. And it seemed like hubby was going 2 miles per hour.
She was so frantic the whole time. Even when we got to the hospital, I'm gonna speed this up. Y'all know how she do. Right. Even when we got to the hospital.
And mind you, I didn't feel safe enough. And I know y'all probably gonna be like, what? And I'm the type, I prefer the kids to stay in car seats and booster seats as long as they can. And like, I don't want them out of that no time soon, even though Golden is so big. But I just, just being honest with y'all, I didn't want him out of my sight. So we literally drove there. He went slow. And we literally drove there, and I had him sitting on my lap, and with the seatbelt over both of us. Well, it felt very slow with the seatbelt over both of us, and I get it. And that's unsafe. You're not supposed to do that. I understand that 100% because I would never do it under any other circumstances. But that last night and the way he was struggling to breathe, I didn't want to put him in the back seat. I wanted him right here with me. That was the first thing I could get to. I didn't care about climbing in the back to get that. No, I wanted to jump in the car and get to the hospital. That's the only thing I was worried about.
So we get there, long story short.
He didn't ride back in the front seat, obviously. But
I guess he was, she getting there. I'm assuming she's super friendly. I know she's super friendly. I know we pull up to the emergency. I got to let them out of the park. And then so she getting there. I guess they finally got y'all to the back, and he's frantic at this point. He's 4 years old. He don't know what's going on. He's super confused. All these people
and his breathing was just really, really jacked up, and they was making him cry by trying to, get vitals through certain things, and he just wasn't. He wasn't in the mood for that because, like I told hubby, like this is some of the same stuff they do to him at, you know, getting oxygen, getting certain vitals. That's the same stuff he gets done at his pediatrician, no problem. But I guess since he was already in panic mode and frantic, and I guess I wasn't making it any better, it just, you okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Mm-hmm. I just need to stand up. You can finish the story.
They're gonna take 10 days telling them.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to wrap it up now.
How? You ain't even.
Anyway, so I guess he just was extra panicky, and so, you know, he didn't want them to take his oxygen at all. He doesn't have a problem with it usually being on his finger. He had a problem with it. He had a problem with them putting it on his toe. He had a problem with all of that. But my whole thing is, I'm sitting here in the front like, okay, this is not working. So what can we do right now to make sure that he's able to breathe? That's the only thing I care about. Y'all can get these vitals later. You know what I mean? Like, that is not as important as making sure he does not get shallow breathing and gasping for air right here in the front of this hospital. And so they was like, yeah, we're just trying to get his oxygen level so we can see how low it is. And then he started, you know, coughing and stuff, and it was like, this definitely sounds like croup. And everything happened so fast, and just so I panicked so bad I wasn't even thinking, because if I would have really paid attention and listened, it would have hit me and been familiar to me, because Sevon had croup and he was much smaller. And I remember that, you know, that barking cough. I do remember that. But like I said, everything, I'm just looking at him seeming like he's struggling to breathe. That's the only thing I could key in on. But as soon as they said croup, it hit me like, you know what? That's exactly what this is. But we ended up going to the back. They was trying to get vitals on him still. It wasn't working. And at that point, the doctor just basically, hubby was in there, and the doctor basically was just like, right now, we're going to let him just chill for a second. Because getting him heightened up like this is just making the situation worse. Because he's having that inflammation and that swelling in his throat. And us making him cry and bothering him right now is just going to make it harder for him to breathe. So they ended up, leaving us alone for a little bit. Came back in with some Tylenol, which was in 2 syringes, and he put up a little fight, but he took those. And then they handed us the steroid little dissolvable pill that they tried to make seem like didn't have a taste.
I asked him, like, what's this taste like?
Yeah, they tried to make it seem like it didn't have a taste. But the thing is,
in his mouth, he's spitting
I was
up
about to
and
say, the
threw
thing
up.
is with Golden, he like chewable anything. Like,
Right.
he take his probiotics, he take, you know what I mean, like stuff like that. Chewable's usually no problem to him. So for him to have spit it out, it's like, okay, it ain't no taste.
But
It
he
got
ain't
to
just
be
spit up, he
nasty.
threw up.
Yeah,
he
he
threw
ended
it
up
like
throwing it up.
immediately.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he spit it out
10
his
seconds
mouth.
later.
We tried to get him to put it back in his mouth because we knew like he needed to take the steroids to help the inflammation. So obviously we tried to get him to put it back in his mouth. He threw up.
the
he was
taste
like-
had to been so bad.
And that's
He
why I
kept
had
grabbing the
on
towel,
scrubs. in
Trying
the
to lick it up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he threw up all over my pants and everything, so they gave me some scrubs, so I had to put some scrubs on. But yeah, he was trying to, like he said, with the
Like, well, y'all ain't gonna be playing. She can't.
I saw that, and then I saw somebody said paper pants. I'm like, come on, this don't look like.
She can't dress for the occasion just in case they didn't know what they was doing. Yeah, funny.
Oh, he threw up on my pants, and I had to change. But I wasn't even worried about changing. I'm just worried about him. But they brought me the scrubs in there, and it was like, oh, whenever you want to change into this, we'll put them right here. I ended up doing it once he was fine. But yeah, so he threw that up, and then they was like, well, talking about the oxygen mask, I think I asked the question about that, and it was like, do you think he's gonna want it over his face, or you think he'll let you hold it up to his face? I was like, I think he'll let me hold it up to his face for sure. So we did that. I count down from 100. He let me get to like 30, and then
And not even all the way on his face.
yeah, it was like right here, and then he let me get to like 30, and then he was over it. And so she was like, she said something about I mentioned the steroid pills again, and I was like, is it any other form? And she was saying that they could do it in a shot form, which we don't think that would have been a good idea. But she then said something about doing it in applesauce or in apple juice. And hubby was like, yeah, I think apple juice would be fine. So that was a great call because they crushed them up, you know, in the applesauce, in the apple juice. And he drunk that thing down and then he wanted more. So
and after that, he was pretty much good.
Yeah, like I guess after that started to like kick in a little bit, he started playing around, running around, playing the games on my phone. Because like even before that, he didn't want to play the games on my phone. He didn't want to watch his favorite little shows on my phone. He didn't want to do any of that.
You'll need an internet connection.
Yeah, he didn't want to do any of that. So I knew once he started, you know, being willing to play on the phone and run around and stuff, it was like, okay, yeah, he's starting to be back to himself. And then we really knew when he took out running down that hallway. He just got out of the room and just took out. I ran after him. I'm like, what in the world? They just took out down there. He was laughing and stuff. I took him to the bathroom. He used the bathroom. Then we came back in, and then he started letting us know he was ready to go. He was like, "You open the door, please." Like, even though it wasn't a door, it was a sliding thing, but I was standing in front of it so that he wouldn't run out. But yeah, at that point he was ready to go. He was like, asked me to pick him up. He was trying to get out.
So they wanted to keep us for 4 hours, but we ended up staying for 3. So we left at like 3 in the morning. And yeah.
And then I sat in the back seat with him, the far back, and he was sleepy at that point. Like, we could tell he was sleepy because we know how he get to acting when he is sleepy. So yeah, he was being very, very, very goofy. Like when the doctor came in to check on him and everything, he gave him a high five and he asked the doctor to tickle him. He talking about tickle. And then he was sitting there leaning all on the doctor, just being goofy. So we was like, yeah, he's overly sleepy at this point. And then we got in the car and I got in the back seat with him and he laid his head down on my lap and, well, kind of up against my arm, and I tried to make it to where he could be more comfortable by leaning it more on my leg. And then he was trying to doze off by the time we was pulling in our neighborhood. But it's like, we basically home now. Got in there, you washed him up, put him on some change of clothes, and you put him in the bed. And then I jumped in the shower because, like I said, he threw up on me too. So I threw up. I did not throw up. I jumped in the shower and he fell asleep quick, y'all, because by the time because by the time I got out of the shower and I was going in there to, you know, check on him and move some things around, because where his camera was set up, you kind of couldn't see over his cover, which is fine for me any other day, but not when I'm trying to keep an eye on him, a close eye on him. So usually I have their monitor down to like 2 volume wise, but I had it like all the way up on 5 just so I could hear any little thing. And yeah, he was knocked out. I went down there, he was already knocked out. He was breathing really good at that point, so that made me feel good, because I was already knowing like I'm not about to get no sleep tonight, because I'm not going to be able to sleep with him like this. And you know, for forever, literally up until like maybe when Golden was
able to get good sleep.
No, like, you know, I used to always go sleep in the room with Golden.
I want to say all the way up until last night.
Not last night, but it probably was like maybe his last 3 colds may have been the only times that I have not slept in the room with him, because typically when he's sick, I go and sleep in the room with him, because I want to know if he's spiking a fever. I want to know how high it gets. I want to know, you know, anything like that. I've always heard of like fevers, seizures, you know, the febrile seizures or whatever. So it always just made me more comfortable to be in there with him when he was sick. Obviously it's not that simple no more with having like a little kid also. So I've just been trying to do it differently now. Just really keep an eye on him, keep walking back and forth, checking him that way. But yeah, I always was very like much, I need to be in here with him when he's sick. And for Savon, he doesn't get sick often at all, thankfully. And I think even the times that he's been sick, I think it was only one time thus far that he's had a fever. So I didn't really have that issue with him. But yeah, Golden always would get fevers with his colds, like literally always, except for seemingly like when he was going to pre-K, it seemed like he wasn't getting a fever with those colds. But aside from that, he would always get a fever.
Yeah, so we got him home and he was good. He still got the cough right now. Of course, that don't go away in a day. You're gonna have that for about 3-4 days. They just told us to monitor it.
Follow up
It's
with
not
his
much that they could do,
pediatrician.
because that's something that kind of just gotta run its course unless it's super bad. If it's super bad, then they can give him steroids like they did. But other than that, it gotta run its course. But so yeah, what did we learn yesterday?
And then I put the humidifier in
It
his
was
room
wrong.
last
Yeah,
night.
you did.
And probably later on tonight we'll probably throw him in the shower
Yeah.
for the steam.
We learned that stuff that's
Helps.
the typical stuff that you gotta do at home.
Mhm.
Home stuff for kraut. It's called croup or kraut?
Croup.
Croup.
Yeah, so so he was, like I said, he was breathing really good last night. Like there was no point on the monitor where I heard him doing anything until first thing in the morning. Like, once he got up, then I heard like a little cough, but it still sounded better today than it did last night, his cough so far today. But I know that it could get back how it was at night. But we're hoping, the doctor was saying the steroids that he got should do him well for the next couple days. Which didn't make sense. Now that I think about it. Because why did they need to watch him until it wear off if it's going to last for the next couple days?
No, they wanted to monitor him to see how he was doing with
Oh.
it. They wanted to stay in the hospital for as long as possible to run that bill up. But he was good. I was telling him, like, we got 2-month-old at the crib that need milk. We gotta go. We can't, if he good, then we need to bounce. But anyway, all is well. Praise to the Most High. Yeah, man. Just wanted to update y'all on that. It was a super long day. We're tired as heck right now, so we're not gonna hit the gym. We've been hitting the gym. This was week 2. How's it feel being back in the gym?
Good.
Yeah, it does.
It definitely does. And I would have forced myself to go today, but I feel like at the same time, you got to listen to your body. And if I'm going to go in there and not be able to do much anyway because I'm burnt out, might as well just get some rest and get back in there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely, again,
It's hitting
we
me
got,
right now.
yeah, because we got
It's
home
hitting
at
me.
3:30. Probably didn't get to sleep until like 4:30.
Close to 5. Oh, for you, yeah. Close to
Yeah,
5.
I fell asleep for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and then, obviously that didn't stop Savon from waking up because he slept through the night. So that didn't stop him from waking up, at his times that he wake up. And, we still had to get up and parent. That's what we got to do.
So we gonna skip it tonight, but we're gonna replace, because we go Monday through Fridays. But we're just gonna replace this Thursday with Sunday, because I want to get our full 5 days. Cause we've been doing, like I said, we're just getting back in, but we're doing great. I want to stick with it. I mean, not want to, we're gonna stick with it, but I don't even want to have a missed day. If we miss a day, that make it up on one of our off days. Which we got 2 off days, like I said, Saturday and Sunday. So we'll just make it up on Sunday.
So now we got to get back home to our big boys, and
I want some cake.
I bet your back do want some cake.
I bet your back wants some cake.
My back wasn't thinking.
Deny it. Deny that you
My
don't want
back
no cake.
was not thinking about cake.
I ain't asked what your back was
I
thinking
don't want
about.
no cake.
Wow. That was a lot straight out your teeth.
No, it wasn't, because I got
Cake.
cookie
Right there.
tasters.
She don't want cake because she already got cake.
So I didn't lie.
Would you like that?
No, thank you. I'll take it. Let me watch it, because maybe later on I might change my mind. I don't want it in this moment, but that don't mean I won't want it later.
You know you will. But that's because we. So, you're doing different because you eating cakes and stuff. You ain't supposed to be.
You eating candy. You ain't
That's not the
supposed to.
freaking same.
Oh my goodness, y'all. He wants so bad for it not to be the same thing. I'm eating cookie cakesters, Oreo cookie cakesters, because let me know, nursing moms that done try to let them know real quick. That helps with your, It seems to help with the breast milk increasing.
That don't compare to the little
He
sour candy I
has
be eating.
this
for the gym.
sugary sour candy that he uses as his gym candy to give him whatever energy that he just tore up a whole bag of over here, and we ain't at nobody's gym. But he wants to say that that's better.
It's definitely
Then
better
me-
than cakes. You be eating full on cakes. But anyway,
Nah.
I digress. I'm supposed to be eating my one sweet. If I do something sweet, my one, because there's sugar and everything. But I'm talking about like my hardcore, like cookies and cakes and all that crap, once a week, and then like not OD on it, like literally just once. So like maybe once on the weekend. So yeah. So long story short, I get this now. Then that's it for. I'm not getting nothing else.
Oh, Mom, I thought we was having a moment. I'm over here smiling in her face. You gonna bust out that cry right there?
So yeah, we appreciate y'all tapping in. We appreciate the love, the prayers, and all the concerns. All is well.
Yes, he is. He is doing good. He's doing better, and he'll get better. And yeah, it's
Keep
just
y'all up, baby.
tough seeing your little ones down like that, not being themselves. When they running around screaming, you be like, "Oh my goodness, I wish you would just sit and chill for a second." But then when they're sitting and chilling because they don't feel good, it's like, I wish you would run around like how you do when I be wanting you to sit still.
We really do compliment each other just in our who we are and our lifestyle, because you really be needing me
I
to
know.
keep things
Calm.
under composure. Did I
Yeah.
say that right?
No, but they get what you was trying to say. But yeah, no, for real. That's why what did I tell you last night? Thank you for being you.
Thank you for being me, baby.
Cause it helps. Like, it doesn't help me in the very moment when I'm panicking, but seeing
don't
someone
realize it.
else
You
calm
don't realize
helps
it.
you stay somewhat.
That's what I'm about
Calm.
to say. Like, you would frantic even more.
Yeah, I would be
if
more
it wasn't.
panicky if you were panicking also. So it definitely helps that you aren't like that. And surprisingly, same for my mom. Like, she's just like, Yanni, he's breathing. He's like, he is breathing. So he's okay. Like, just stay calm, trying to keep me calm. And those things do help, because if they were running around just like how I was, we all would have been in there forgetting where we was even going.
You about to run with word, yeah.
Okay.
We lay out with everything 7 family. Peace.